What's up, Richard? Timmers here. Now, with the sudden passing of Michael Madsen, I decided to go and ahead and do my top 10 favorite Michael Madsen movies. Because the guy, again, he's not really, he's obviously well known and all, but he has always these actors whose face is probably not really always his name might not be always recognizable, but you definitely know his face, and he always, delivers every time he's in something. Even if it's a film that is not so good, he's actually solid in it. And gone way too soon. But here are my official top 10 favorite Michael Madsen movies. Alright, number 10 is a little film that not many people probably ever heard of, called Lumberjack Man. It's a slasher comedy where a demonic lumberjack, obsessed with pancakes, hunts teens at the summer camp. And it was like a low budget horror that leans into gore, delivering laughs and scares and stuff. Michael Madsen's character is Dr. Pete Shercliffe, who plays like a camp doctor, and his role is not really that big or anything, but he is very fitting in the film's overall tone and stuff. In the midst of the pancake feud, carnage. I mean, the kills, by the way, in this are really cool. Like, someone actually gets literally killed by a huge. I'm talking about a huge pancake. Yeah, that's what we actually get in this one. But it's not. It's really cheesy. It's a B movie film, but it is actually a lot of fun. If you guys never seen it, I think you'll probably find it on Tubi. You can probably find it somewhere else. But do yourself a favor, give it a go. It's a really fun little horror flick. Where is the sequel to that? It's beyond it. Alright, number 9 is another low budget horror film, and that is Piranha. It is a low budget sci-fi horror film where a giant hybrid snake of a piranha and an anaconda terrorizes a Hawaiian jungle where a film crew, mercenaries, and a hyperdologist fight to survive the monster's rampage in this campy creature feature. And it is, of course, you got Michael Madsen, who plays Professor Lovegrove, who's a quirky, snake-obsessed scientist, and he is, both eccentric, heroic, and all. He pretty much leads into, the B-movie absurdity. Piranha, despite being for sci-fi, it actually has some pretty good kills in it. It is actually really entertaining. Definitely has, that Sharknado feel to it, so if you're a fan of something like Sharknado, I'd say you'll be a fan of Piranha. Really entertaining one there. Alright. Coming in at number 8 is Species. Now, Species stars Michael Madsen along with Natasha Henstridge. I had a huge crush on Henstridge when I first saw this movie. Of course, I saw this film, around a time when I wasn't supposed to be watching these type of films, but, yeah, it's a very risque film. If they remade this thing today, I could easily see Sydney Sweeney playing the Henstridge character. But anyway, this, of course, is where, scientists create a human-alien hybrid, Syl, who escapes and seeks, a mate here. You got Michael Madsen, who plays Preston Press Lennox, who's this tough, no-nonsense mercenary, and he's hired to track Syl. And he has, very cool-headed action hero type. He is really solid in this. Of course, you got Forrest Whitaker, Ben Kingsley. Some really interesting supporting players, too. But Michael Madsen steals every show, every scene he's in, and, he is really awesome in this one. Alright, number 7 is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Now, again, his role's not really, big or anything. It is, more of a cameo, but his scene was actually pretty cool here. He plays, a sheriff in a meta TV show within the film Bounty Law. And, of course, sadly, you had the late Luke Perry was also in this as well. Obviously, Michael Madsen has worked with Quentin Tarantino tons of times. I got a few Quentin Tarantino movies on this list, obviously. But, yeah, Michael Madsen is really solid in this one. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, sorry, Parasite, you're a cool film, don't get me wrong. This is the movie that should have won Best Picture. That's just me. That's why I should think of it. And so many great actors in this. From Leo DiCaprio to cameos like Luke Perry and stuff. It's some really cool cast was featured in this, and Yeah, and Mike Madsen was really cool in this too. All right, number 6 is Sin City. Now you got Michael Madsen who plays a corrupt cop in like the Yellow Bastard segment, and he is like a very tough, ambitious partner to Hardigan. And he's like the film's stark black and white world delivers like a solid supporting return for him. I mean, I've always loved the original Sin City. It's just really awesome to watch. Love how beautiful this thing is and looked. And Michael Madsen, like, sadly, he is also the latest Sin City actor who's no longer with us. Following the passing of Brittany Murphy, Michael Clark Duncan, Powers Booth. So he is sadly the latest Sin City actor to tragically pass. But yeah, he's still great in his segments and definitely well worth a watch for Sin City. All right, number 5. Sadly, we already lost one of the stars in this, like the main star of this film, Val Kilmer, and sadly we lost another star of it, and that is The Doors. Now, you of course got Michael Madsen, who plays Tom Baker, who is of course a drug feud actor and friend of Jim Morrison, and he doesn't really have too much to do in this. Like, that's the thing about Michael Madsen. Even like in movies that he only has a small role in, he actually delivers in his small roles. And he is like his scenes with Val Kilmer's Jim Morrison, R.I.P. Jim Morrison, R.I.P. Val Kilmer, and now R.I.P. Mike Madsen. Like, he is really terrific here, playing the reckless charisma fitting the film's hedonistic vibe here. The Doors is really excellent. Directed by Oliver Stone. Michael Madsen was great. Meg Ryan, Val Kilmer. It is well worth a watch if you guys haven't seen it. Alright. Number 4 is Free Willy. I love the original Free Willy. The sequel's okay, but nothing beats that original Free Willy. If you guys never seen Free Willy, it was around the time of, like, during the 90s when they did, like, fun animal films. Like, obviously it was around the same decade as the likes of Babe, or, like, Air Bud. You don't really get these type of animal movies anymore nowadays. But of course, Free Willy plays like the main character, Jesse's gruff foster father, and he is like a working class guy with like a tough extra here, and his like chemistry with his like son here, is really solid. I mean, the original Free Willy definitely holds up. So iconic. I mean, I always do love that whale. It's just such a really good one. I gotta rewatch Free Willy again. It's been like years. Number 3 is, of course, the Kill Bill movies. Now, I'm just adding both films, but the Kill Bill movies are just great. They are just a lot of fun to watch. Michael Madsen's character is Bud Sidewinder, who's like a washed-up brother and ex-assassin, and he's like a grizzled, cynical loser working as a bounty, and he is awesome in this one. Of course, he like his scenes are really fun to watch. Of course, him like with Uma Thurman. Of course, Sarah Hannah was great in this too. It's definitely like his like a knack for layer world weary roles is just really amazing to watch. All right, number 2 is Delma and Louise. Now his role is of course very very minor, but he does play like Louise's musician boyfriend Jimmy, who is charming but slightly right around the edge is romantic. And his brief but heartfelt scenes with Louise reveal like a softer side, and really interesting to see how to see the softer side of Michael Madsen. Especially, he's always best known for playing like more baddies, more tougher type roles, and Delma and Louise is just excellent all around. It is my favorite Ridley Scott movie, to be honest. Yes, even over Aliens, Gladiator, and stuff like that. I mean, Delma and Louise is just excellent if you guys haven't seen it. And my number one favorite Michael Madsen movie of all time is none other than Reservoir Dogs. Of course, Michael Madsen, this is probably his best role to date. Of course, his character of Mr. Blind, who's like a cool, psychopathic crook fresh out of prison, and he's loyal to the boss here. And his role is just super excellent. He's very stuck in the middle of you, defines chilling charisma. he really plays like definitely Vic Vega is his best role to date. Now I guess you could say he's done stuff beforehand, but I guess you could say Reservoir Dogs was the one that really put him on the map for most people. Of course, it was actually Quentin Tarantino's first ever film, the one that put him on the map. Obviously, you had Steve Buscemi, Chris Penn, R.I.P. to both Chris Penn and Michael Madsen. I mean, they were both always amazing. This Reservoir Dogs is definitely well worth a watch if you guys never seen that one. But that's pretty much it. Here is, of course, my quick rundown. Number 10, Lumberjack Man. 9, Piranha. 8, Species. 7, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. 6, Sin City. 5, The Doors. 4, Free Willy. 3, Kill Bill. 2, Delma and Louise. And number 1 is Reservoir Dogs. Now, of course, there's been other great ones too, like Donnie Darko, War Games, Straight Talk, Mulholland Falls. Was not a fan of Speeches 2, to be honest. The first Speeches is great. Sequel's not all that good. Hellride, Vice, The Killing Jar. He was in Angels Fallen movies. I mean, let's be real. He's not always. He was never always in the best stuff, but hey, he's always so great every time he is in something, and like he's been in a lot of stuff. He sort of like reminds me of Eric Roberts at times. If you ever look through like Eric Roberts's if you ever look through like Eric Roberts's filmography on IMDb, you'll see that he's been in almost everything. Same goes with Michael Madsen, but yeah, Mike Madsen, R.I.P. Let me let you guys. What are some of your favorite Michael Madsen films? What's some of your favorite performances of his? What's some of your your top tier films of he's been in? Drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notification. And this series, movies, and sign off.